Ian, Dan, thank you very much for joining us today. And Dan, welcome to Hibernian FC as our new Chief Executive. How happy are you to be here and what attracted you to the role?
I'm absolutely delighted to be here. It didn't take me long to realise what a special football club this is. I think in my initial conversations with Ian and Tim and the ownership group, I was inspired by how passionate they all feel about the club and how committed they are to making the fans proud. I think in my initial conversations with Ian, it became clear to me in particular how important he sees the role as him being a custodian for this football club. I think the other thing that's safe to say is that in lots of conversations we've had, we are both very ambitious and we're constantly thinking of ways to drive the club forward and to think differently and how to create a platform for success off the pitch as well as on the pitch.
And Ian, obviously you led on that recruitment process to bring Dan to the football club. What stood out to you about Dan and how did he meet that criteria?
Yeah, we're very excited for Dan to be joining us. It was a very thorough recruitment process, many great candidates, but Dan was a standout due to his global sporting background and the success that he had in those roles. We also believe Dan will be a great cultural fit for us. We've made some great strides off the pitch with the new senior leadership team in place and the staff all pulling in the right direction, and we're delighted for Dan to be joining that and leading that going forward.
Yeah, and Dan, Ian touched upon your diverse background there. Obviously, you've worked at UEFA, Leicester City, the Olympics. How will those experiences shape your approach here at Hibs?
I think that will help a lot. To be honest, all of those experiences have been successful ones, and it's been primarily on building a strategy so everyone's pulling in the same direction to drive revenue and brand value and making sure that we are ruthlessly prioritizing the things that matter. And ultimately, what you need is a culture where the team have a clear definition of what success is and are all motivated and inspired to deliver that.
Yeah, and I know you've obviously only just started a couple of weeks ago, but what have your first impressions been of the club, both on and off the pitch?
To be honest, I started a couple of weeks ago, but I would say I've probably had a couple 100 calls with Ian already, just because I'm very keen to get stuck in. But what I would say is that my first impression from a couple of weeks here is that the staff here, senior leadership team and the rest of the staff are incredibly passionate and incredibly talented. And so I think the club's in a really good place and it's my role to help continue that and build on that momentum.
And Dan, you've worked all over the globe, but how much are you looking forward to working in Scotland for the first time?
Oh, I can't wait to get stuck up in Scotland. I've moved up here with my wife and kids. They've settled in fantastically. It's an amazing part of the world, and I'm excited to be part of Scottish football and Scottish football culture. As you can tell, I've got a bit of a funny accent. I'm a Yorkshireman myself. I've spent a lot of time in the US, but I am originally a Yorkshireman. But yeah, I'm very keen to immerse myself in everything that is Scotland and Scottish football.
Fantastic. And Ian, from the get-go, in terms of the recruitment process for the CEO coming in, you've always said that that person will lead on the business side of the football club. But just give us an insight in how that structure will work at the club in terms of business and football.
Yeah, we're really excited with the new structure we have in place with Malky leading all the football side of the club and Dan now coming in to lead the business side. But something we're passionate about here at the club is the collaborative approach we have with the senior leadership team, Dan and Malky leading their departments. But it's all about all of us pulling in the right direction to continue our growth.
Yeah, and in terms of the business side of the club then, Dan, what are your top priorities as CEO for the next 12 months?
I think first and foremost, it's the fans. The fans here are unique and incredible. And I think it's really important to have lots of conversations with the fans, let the fans know that they have a voice so that when we are pulling our strategies together, we are doing something and going in a direction that they feel happy about and that will ultimately make them proud. I think the second thing is the financial piece. It's really important for me to come in and make sure that we are developing a strong level of financial sustainability, and that's through managing costs and prioritization, but also through growing the revenues and the brand value as well. And I think the third thing is the community. You know, having had lots of conversations already, I feel really strongly about how important it is for the football club to give back to the community itself. And so I'm delighted to be joining the Community Foundation board alongside Ian as well.
One of the points you touched upon just then was the finances. There's been a lot of discussion about the club's finances over the last 12 months or so. Ian Gordon said at the last AGM that the accounts won't be much better when the next set come out. Is it an aim of yours then to make the club more economically sustainable?
I think this is a really important topic, and it is for the fans too. The key here is that it's strategic spending for sustainable growth. It's done deliberately, it's done responsibly, and it's done in advance as part of the budgeting process. And I think the short-term financial status is one the club is comfortable with because it's all done with a strategic intention of building a stronger Hibernian going forward, both on and off the pitch. Now, of course, my plan, my intention together with Ian is to create those opportunities to drive revenue going forward, which will also help with that financial sustainability in the medium term.
In terms of the two of you working together then, Ian, how closely will you and Dan be working across the wider football club?
Yeah, I mean, as Dan alluded to earlier, we've had hundreds of conversations thus far, been heavily engaged in talking about the plans that we have moving forward. So it's just about strategizing how we put those plans into fruition. But we're very excited to be working together. And we're also going to be leading the new HTC redevelopment project. So that's well underway. And we're very excited for what that can bring to the club moving forward. But it really is just about putting in the appropriate strategy in place to achieve our goals.
Fantastic. And part of the strategy, Dan, that Ian mentioned at the AGM was to improve engagement and connection with the supporters. The club's made headway in that over the last 6 months, but how do you intend on strengthening that further?
Look, I mean, this is absolutely crucial for me personally. I know it's important for Ian and it's important for the club as a whole. That can be done informally and it will continue to be done. I know Ian and I, and Malky and a few others, had some beers with the fans in Denmark and Serbia, mainly as a thank you for their incredible support out there. But it's also really important to speak with the fans and understand, you know, what their goals, what their priorities are, and to make sure they feel heard. And then we'll also have more structured ways of doing that. And I know Ian and I are talking about putting plans in place to make sure that there is a structured framework for fans to be able to have their say as part of this football club.
Lastly, for you then, Dan, what's your message to the fans?
Firstly, I just want to thank the fans for such a warm welcome. It's been fantastic to speak to so many fans, both in Europe and in and around Easter Road over the last few weeks and months. But I guess my message to the fans is that I'm committed, I'm all in, and I can't wait to roll my sleeves up and get stuck in to drive the business forward. I think from my side, the way I see my role is not to be visibly front and centre all of the time at the club, but effectively working behind the scenes to do everything I can to drive the club forward and make the fans proud. And I would say, as it always should be, that they should be judging by my actions and not just my words. But I'm very excited about what's to come.
Excellent. And just finally with you, Ian, it's obviously been a really busy summer, the club turning 150 years old, European football. But how much have you enjoyed this summer and how much are you looking forward to the rest of the season? Yeah,
it's been a great start to the summer. Obviously such a special time for the club being the 150th anniversary, and I believe we've done a great job in terms of delivering that thus far. The guys here have worked really hard to deliver a special year with the 150th events. But we're also really looking forward to what's to come on the pitch with the men's team already participating in European competitions and with our women's team coming up later this month in Cyprus and then the academy in the UEFA Youth League. So very exciting time for the club and we're really excited in the direction we're heading and we look forward to the future.
Fantastic. Ian, Dan, thank you very much for joining us and Dan, good luck at Hibs.
Thank you very much.